Hi, I'm Emma Benson, she, her. I am a swing in Heathers, so I cover the 3 female ensemble characters, the 3 male ensemble characters, and then also Martha Dunnstock, Miss Fleming, and Heather McNamara. I had been auditioning for Heathers for a while. I had submitted a tape through casting for the character of Martha originally, and I love the character of Martha, but I felt that I could be a better fit as an understudy and utilize other characters. So I went to the ECC to sing and dance for the team, and in those auditions I candidly told them I'd love to be considered for an understudy, just to sort of plant that seed going in, because I knew that that would be my way into the show. And then after a couple rounds of auditions and callbacks, I think it was like 3 weeks of waiting, like truly 3 agonizing weeks where I'd totally given up on it and started moving on mentally. And I just got a call from my agent when I was sitting at a coffee shop that I was joining Heather's family, and we didn't know as what. We knew it was swing in some capacity. So I'm very thankful for where I've ended up. Okay, so being a swing is a really specific set of skills where you are stepping into an ensemble track, you are working the traffic and the choreography for that particular character, but your job primarily is to be off stage and to be ready to go on. So it's confusing for your parents to say, when can I come see you in the show? And you don't necessarily know, because as a swing, I found out today that I'm going on for 2 different roles this evening, and I found out this morning while I was getting a manicure. Sometimes you have a little bit of advance notice. For example, someone I cover has a concert they're performing in on a show night that is a pre-approved conflict. So I know that that particular day, I can tell my parents, I'm in the show this night if you want to buy tickets in advance. But being a swing, it's about being off stage and ready to go on, but you are not in the show every night. But when you do go into the show, it's a little bit different every time. Rehearsals as a swing are always so interesting because there's not really a set way to do it. Every show does swing rehearsals a little bit differently. Since we have a really small 6-person ensemble and it's very individualized, they encouraged us to take on our own characters, our own personalities in the characters that we're playing. So for example, when I swing into the ensemble, even though the characters may be called Stoner Chick or Preppy Stud, every time I go into the ensemble, I am my own character, which is the Midwest Surfer Punk. So they encouraged us to really come up with our own point of view with these characters. But there's 4 of us. It's myself, Lewis, Lav, who are the 3 swings, and then Sarah, who's the standby for Veronica and Heather Chandler. The 4 of us basically had a corner. We called it Crash Out Corner. It was us with all of our note cards and all of our color-coded devices, keeping track of the show as it went on. And then anytime someone left rehearsal for a costume fitting or a meeting or a blocking rehearsal, we would step into their shoes so we can get a feel of what it's like being in this ensemble. Okay, so when you're covering a principal track, I think the first thing you should do is just get familiar with their language. I think the writing, especially of this show, is so important, and every one of these characters has a really unique voice. You should hone in on that character and how they see the world and try to see things through their lens. When you are covering the ensemble, which the swings do, it's about spacing. It's about where I am on the stage, how I'm not in someone else's way, traffic patterns. It's much more logistical, almost like looking at a weather map and like plotting out exactly where you go on the stage. Because for me, for a swing, like my number one thing is I should be here to make this show flow and be easy. I should not be in the way and make it harder. So yeah, I would say that. Everyone has a completely different method. Mine is extremely type A, which is color-coded note cards. So when I was learning these tracks, I designated a color for each character, and then I sort of went through with the common beats. Here are the major moves on stage. You almost think of it from the perspective of lighting. You know, when we go into this cue, where am I in this character? When we go into this cue and we have this line, where am I as this character? So I've got my color-coded note cards, and then I have a really chaotic notebook that I need to reorganize. And I keep those at my station in the dressing room, like literally stuck up on suction cups. So if, for example, I find out right 10 minutes before the show that I'm going on for Cecilia's character in the ensemble, I know that I grab my orange note cards and I have my notes to flip through. The pressure it's intense, but I think if I don't fixate on the nerves of it and just fixate on the information, I need to go to stage left 10, I need to move this prop, I need to walk off this side of the stage, I need to do the choreography in this direction. I think that focusing on the facts at hand makes it less stressful for me. I am pretty regimented about stretching. The show is like, it's not super dancey, but when the dance moments happen, they're definitely hard and you hit it really intensely. So I like to do like a full yoga warm-up before the show, and right before I go on, you can always catch me talking to myself and like saying my numbers, like stage left 12 to stage right 2, then circle back, then go around, walk behind Carrie, get the notebook from Cameron, go off stage right. Like I just am talking out loud my traffic. And I try to, that's the last thing I like to think about before I go on stage. So if anything, if I get stage fright, if I get nervous, if something happens, I at least have this number plot in my head. So I'll like at least be in the right places on stage. Okay, so tonight is a really unique situation where we're doing a couple of split tracks. So what split tracking means is essentially the movie Weekend at Bernie's, where it's the two people holding up the dead guy's body. It's essentially two swings are holding up an invisible person, and we are filling in all the gaps of that person who is not here. So it happens when a certain number of people call out, have personal days, are sick, etc. So tonight, the swings are kind of coming together, and we're picking certain elements of each track that we're doing. So tonight, in the opening number, I go from being preppy stud, which is a bully, to beleaguered geek, who is being bullied, all within the same 6-minute number. So any version that you come to see of Heather's, I guarantee you'll catch something different, but sometimes you have a really specific show where you're like, this is going to be special. This is one that I'm not going to forget about because the people that I'm playing and the personalities I'm jumping between and trying to make them cohesive, it's just going to be so silly that once it's done, like, there's no better feeling. You feel like a hero and you just take your bow and then walk off stage and go to sleep.